we are quite lucky, not to say lucky lah. We have been supported. We have been supported by MARA, EPU, and MARA Corporation in developing the railways specialization under UNIKL. So under UNIKL, we are Higher Tibet University. If you talk about railway, you can see the depot inside the railway campus. If you talk about the marine, come and visit our campus in Lumut. So we have our own dockyard and our own and the ship been repaired by our subsidiaries. If we go to Subang, just connected to the airport, we have our own campus for aviation. So this is the definition of Higher Tibet under UNIKL. So to have all this, I can say it's not economical at one area. So what we do is we collaborate with our industry partners. So for setting up the Asia Rail, we started with having collaboration with Pasarana. So thank you to Pasarana because with the help and assistance from Pasarana, they building up together with our lecturers the syllabus and also the equipment. So we also have been given access to Pasarana Depot to benchmark certain of their equipments. So that's how we set up for university. So the students, the graduate from UNIKL Leisure Center and MIDI will acquire the competency required by the railway industry. Meantime, under UNIKL, we have an approach called industrial manship. A very fancy names, but it is basically the program, a structured program from semester 1 until semester 7. So our students, they can go to the industry with certain hours. For example, in semester 2 and 3, they are good to go to the industry, to Pasarana, to KTMB, even though to ERL. Thomas is being a very good partners with us, allowing our lecturers having trainers in his depot. They can have about exposure 1, exposure 2. In a week, probably one day we'll go to the partners depot and they can have some exposure. That on exposure 1, exposure 2. And later on, they can do the final year project together with the company. And finally, they can do internship. The best part of UNIKL syllabus, our internship is at the last semester, in the semester 8. So basically, if the graduate or the students fulfilling all the competency and having a very good discipline, normally they will go and work at the same company. So that is the way we set up our syllabus with our industry partners. Basically, UNIKL or the other university, we cannot provide everything from A to Z to develop the competency. When we have a chat with Blaine, he shared his experience on learning through the whole transformer power station, right? So it's a very good learning curve. So to get the competency, we must be hands-on. So that's why we believe with a good partnership, the industry partners, it's always the good approach to make sure our graduate having the right competency, streamlined with the needs of the industry. Yeah, Blaine, you want to add?
Yeah, thank you. I completely agree. I think
actually there's a four-way relationship. There's the learner, the student, there's the university, there's industry, and then ourselves as the institution. Because we've seen recently where people who fail to follow practice and standards cause the loss of lives. We saw that in Greece and we saw that in India. And the vision of the RSC is safe and sustainable global railways. And it's that safety element that is so critical to people investing in using rail as a transport medium. So we must make sure that our safety standards are at the highest. And that means that industry and employers have to be strong and recognise that if somebody is not performing competently, they should not be allowed to operate in our industry. Because we can't take the risk that if they get it wrong, and it's not just about doing the right thing, it's about doing things right. And knowing when to say, I don't know, I don't understand, I need help and support. Not trying to bluff it, because that's when accidents happen. So I think we have to work really closely with industry. They set standards around equipment, they set standards around procedures. Let's set standards around people too. And we can work collectively and collaboratively to achieve that.
Okay, right, thank you, Dr. Azman and Mr. Blanchard. Yeah, human factor plays a role in factoring risks as well, and when it comes to signaling, it's always about safety. Like the first development of signaling was about safety, it's because safety, and how the academic landscape now today. The universities have to work very closely with the industry to essentially make it so that the students are industry verified, competent individuals. Correct. Right. Then I'm going to ask again Dr. Azman, what are some of the key challenges and opportunities in implementing advanced railway signaling systems in Malaysia?
I want to talk in terms of passenger perspective. Yeah, I think passenger is the customers of the railway operator. Yeah, so it is very challenging. I think if you go to the London Tube, for example, if you take a ride for London Tube, I believe many of our students are very eager to go and experience the London Tube. Okay, it is all underground. Yeah, it's all underground and with the modern coach or the modern rolling stock. Probably later on Jane can share his experience. I believe Jane has some working experience with the rail, the undergrounds London. Yeah, I took the services quite frequently. All right, in Malaysia, I think we need to address our efficiency. So we need to provide the services on time. Yeah? So if you go to Japan, I think they are delivering 99.1%, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of on time. Yeah? So it will be. We need to work towards that. Yeah? I know it's not fair to me to say, on the issues. Yeah, but we need to find the solutions. Yeah, that's why I would like to put this from customer or passenger perspective. So nowadays, if you take the ride, for example, from my house in Rawang, so I will take the ride from Sungai Buloh to Taman Syamelin. Yeah? Okay, to Taman Syamelin. So I need to switch from MRT to LRT Ampang. Yeah. So basically, this is a very good services because I always can arrive here in Midi before 8. Yeah. But if I took the other services, from Rawang to KL Central, the services is inconsistent. Probably they have their own issues. Yeah, so we need to have the integrated service. Yeah, in terms of ticketing, in terms of information. So if the service delayed, okay, the passengers can take the other alternative. Yeah, so if I take the commuter services, for example, it is delayed because so many people on board. Yeah, so I can take the ride from Rawang by using Grab to KL, or I can just return back to home and take car going back to KL. Yeah, so I think this is the things that we need to improve. Basically, sharing the traffic information on time ataupun the real time. So the students and the lecturers can look into this. Yeah, conducting the research, how best we can improve the customer service experience for Malaysian. So we know that we have very modern and one of the best MRT system in Southeast Asia. But in terms of number of passengers, it's still low. I think the only line that having a huge number of passengers is KLJ line. Yeah? The Kelana Jaya line. I think if I'm not mistaken, daily ride is about 400,000. Yeah, but the rest is quite small. Actually on MRT2. Yeah, probably we don't attract enough. The service does not attract enough to attract people to use MRT. Yeah? So I personally like to take MRT too because big space, yeah, and very convenient for me to travel from Sungai Buloh to Taman Syah. So I think my suggestion, we need to improve the attracting more people using our public transport. Yeah?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think we need to start thinking about transport as a service. And whereas as an industry, the rail industry tends to consider the passenger at the time that they arrive at the entrance to the station, to the time when they leave the exit of the station at the end of their journey. The journey starts before that. The journey ends after that. And we have to make sure that we have integrated systems of data management that allow the passenger to make the choice that is best for them. Now that means that we have to manage a lot of data, and I think one of the innovations that we will see that will start to implement and impact on that will be artificial intelligence, because data management and data handling can be so better achieved through machine intelligence than it can through humans. So I think although the systems have not yet been reliably implemented with regards to artificial intelligence, I think many of the young people that are sat in this room will find that artificial intelligence will start to become part of what they do as they develop programs. And somewhere globally is going to have to be the leader in artificial intelligence within railway systems. And who knows, maybe it's Malaysia.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Azman and Mr. Blanchard. For me personally, I think the reason why not a lot of people use the train lines is people, as a student who also uses the services. Most of the time, I think that is the alternative to using a car, since most of the time I would just want to avoid traffic, therefore I ride the train. Right.
And moving on, I would like to ask a question to Mr. Blanchard. How do theoretical concepts
Translate into
practical solutions for enhancing safety and efficiency in rail development?
So I think, as we've already mentioned, ethics is a considerably important part of the engineer's behaviours. We have to be ready to say that we don't know, rather than always expecting to say that we do. I think the best form of measure of somebody's ethical behaviour is they do the right thing when nobody else is looking. Because if you can commit to a situation where you are engaged in an activity and it extends beyond your knowledge or understanding, that it's quite a challenge to be, as a professional engineer, to say, I don't know. But I don't know, those three words are so critical to what we're trying to do in terms of achieving safe and sustainable railways. Because if you don't know, there will be somebody else who does. And working as a team is what engineers do. When I interview engineers who want to become chartered. And one of the things that is really difficult is to get the engineer to talk about their contribution specifically to a project. So I liken engineering teams to being a bit like a rugby team, in that it takes everybody to get that ball across the line. Whereas scientists are a bit like footballers. One good kick and it will go in the goal. You know, we work well together, but in order to work well together, we have to trust that the competence of the person working with us is as good as we believe it to be and expect it to be. So I think ethics really, really sits at the fundamentals of what we do in terms of health, safety, the environment, and sustainability.
Would you like to add to that, Dr. Azman? Or would you like to add to what was said earlier?
On the ethics subjects. Alright, sorry, because I'm preparing to answer the third question. Okay. Alright, so ethics is basically very basics, yeah, very fundamental. In fact, for UniKL, we teach ethics subjects in semester 3 or semester 4. And one of the lecturers who teaching ethics under UniKL is basically engineers in society and technologies in society. Of course, we need to abide with the professional standard. Yeah? I think for Malaysia, we have our Board of Engineers practice standard. Yeah, so we need to. It covers the engineers and also the technologists. So a very good practice, okay. But as always, for everyone information, actually to the student and the future graduate, once you graduate, you need to go and register with Board of Engineer Malaysia. It is a law for you. Before you do your practice, you need to be registered. Okay, you go to level 16, JKR, Jalan Sultan Ishamuddin. Yeah, so I know that because once I graduate in 1997, okay, I went there and did my registration by the law. Yeah? But in terms of enforcement, there is a lot of things need to be done. Yeah? So it's very good for you because when you work, it's not only working. You need to build the career. Yeah? You need to be involved in your society. For example, if you work in the railway industry, so you need to be in the railway industry, joining the forum, publishing the paper, publishing the technical papers and so on. It will help you groom your career and increase your competency, and of course increasing your value. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Azman and Mr. Majid for earlier. And I wanted to add.
The 3 words, I don't know, is not something that someone would expect from an engineer typically. Because people expect engineers to know what they're doing, essentially. Yes.
So, for engineers, it's very terrifying to say, "Oh, I don't know." But so
moving on,
Dr. Azman, what considerations are made in adapting international best practices in railway signaling to the unique conditions and requirements of the railway industry?
I think if we talk on the international practice, I would like to benchmark on European standard. It is an interoperability system. Okay. But for Malaysia, I think currently we only have one single system, which is within Malaysia. Yeah? So we are not connecting directly to Singapore and also to Thailand. So mainly our system is intercity and within the city areas. Yeah. But I believe there are a lot of discussion, yeah, to link the railway system from Singapore to KL, which is back in 2000, I think 12 or 10. So we have the high-speed rail project. Okay? In fact, Thomas told me the project started earlier in 2001. Yeah. So Thomas is one of the consultants, okay, for that project. But I think the most promising one, when the previous governments, back in 2010 or 12, they have the full plan to link Singapore to Kuala Lumpur. The reason why is of economic scale. We have 6 million people in KL, we have around 5 million people in Singapore. So both volume combined is 11 million. So we can commute 11 million people, daily or monthly or yearly. So that's the one of the justification why they propose the high-speed rail connecting Singapore to Kuala Lumpur. Yeah. So of course, Europe is one of the best benchmarking for us, interoperability. So connecting so many European countries. Yeah? If you landed in London, then you can go straight to Berlin. Yeah? Only taking the railway. You don't have to go to the airport anymore, because Of course, traveling by flight is also convenient, but before go to the airport, you need to have about 3 hours before, then you go and register yourself before you fly. But if you take the train, it will be point to point. You depart from KL in KL station, then you can reach in Singapore station in Changi and so on. So it is very convenient. And then for high speed, the plan is connecting KL to Singapore is within 90 minutes with 7 stations. So it is a very good service. But as I said, interoperability will be the best benchmarking for us if Malaysia want to develop further, advancing our signaling system. But for the time being, yet to be there. I believe also government nowadays thinking about linking KL to Thailand or KL to Ipoh. So there is another good project need to be considered. We know that the investment is huge, but in terms of developing the infrastructures for the country, another angle or another perspective need to be studied.
Thank you, Dr. Azman. And mirroring what the EU has to ASEAN countries is a bit difficult because ASEAN countries have different systems of railway, and even different ASEAN countries have different gauges, for example.
That's why I said, we always can, the best benchmarking is the European system. I think when I visited Spain, when we do the benchmarking for setting up the Assurance Center, Spain also having the same problem. I think back in 1950s or 60s, they also having a lot of system, but they managed to streamline all the system, and Spain become one of the most efficient country in Europe that providing a good services of railway. In fact, I took the service from from Madrid to Barcelona, the high-speed train, in less than 3 hours. Blaine, you want to add?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's an interesting point you raised with regards to the difference. But if you go back to what I said originally, in most instances, the theory is the same. It's the practical application of that. So I talked about the IRSE Advanced Diploma. One of the key elements of Advanced Diploma is that individuals, when they answer it, wherever they are in the world, they answer the theory the same, but they answer the practical application differently. And we're able to recognize that within their responses. So it means that we get the opportunity to share best practice on a global stage, but recognize that how it's implemented locally may be slightly different. And next week, the institution has its Aspect conference in Melbourne, and we will have 156 technical papers from people all over the world delivered in a 3-day conference. Now, what you have to be aware of is that those 156 papers will have relevance to everybody at that event. What they may do is they may take the best pieces of that and implement that within their own systems, but it's all based on the same theory. And I think that's a really important aspect of what we do, no pun intended. So.
Thank you, Mr. Lee and Dr. The theory is worldwide. People understand it. It's just
practicing it, like people do it differently. I guess it goes the same with some culture, something like that, akin to it.
Yeah, there can be elements of cultural difference, but I think in general terms, physics is physics, right? You know, we don't change the laws of gravity just because we happen to live in different parts of the world. And I think that there are so many fundamentals. The fundamentals of interlocking, the way in which logic works is the same. It's the way in which that needs to be applied. You might have to take into account that you have different temperature situations or different weather conditions, and therefore you have to adapt to do that. But if you take, you talked about London, if you take the new Elizabeth line, there are different signalling systems on different parts of that lane. So
being able to integrate the systems such that you, as the rolling stock transfers from one signalling system to another, it carries across that system and continues to operate, proves that we can have a number of different systems operating in isolation, but we have integration across the whole of the system.
Right, thank you, Mr. Blaine. So, different systems, but still operating in what is essentially in sync. Yes. Right, final question for Mr. Blaine here. In your view, what is the relevance of real equipment, such as a sandbox C machine in university, to be taught before these students graduate?
So I have
A great passion in simulated systems. The reason I have that passion is because I've worked in safety critical systems all my life. So if you're in the nuclear industry, you want to simulate a nuclear incident. You don't want it to be a real one. Similarly, if you're operating a power station or you're operating a grid system, you need to be able to practice those skills in a safe environment. So I think things like Sandbox here are a fantastic addition. I think what we will see over time is the development of innovation and the incorporation of things like virtual reality and augmented reality systems. I did a piece of work on the River Thames. In order to be able to operate a vessel on the River Thames, you have to have a specific license. The way in which you attain that license is by travelling up and down the Thames and learning all the different places. You can do that in a virtual environment. You don't have to be on a vessel to do that. And if you do that through total immersion, the learning experience that the individual gains is equally as important, but it takes away the jeopardy. It takes away the risk. So I think utilization of simulated systems have their place, but they are no total substitution for real life experience. You know, I remember the first time I wrote a safety document to allow people to work on equipment that was isolated and earthed by me, but had previously been at 400,000 volts. You can't simulate that. The feeling that you get that first time when they go up and they touch that equipment and they're alive is an elation that you just cannot, you cannot simulate. So I think it's important. I think it has its place. I think it will develop. And I think we will have the opportunity to utilize the advances in technology, some of which these people will be working in the future, that, you know, will pass me by. And I envy you because you have the opportunity to engage in some really exciting opportunities in the world of education.
Right, thank you, Mr. Blaine. Yeah, exactly. Like, well, for pilots, you have flight sims. Why not railway operator simulator for the railway? We do have to have a sandbox C downstairs, and we also have
A train driver simulator, I guess you would say it. We brought it upstairs just next year.
Yeah, as I said, for university, we can't have everything to train the railway competency in one place. So having certain level of equipment is very important. So basically, for the national setup, we cover up the competency in electrifications, signalings, rolling stock, safety, and some operational. But the rest, we need to work together with our partners. Okay, so we are very proud with our partners. You name it, in Malaysia. ERL, KTMB, Pasarana, to name a few, and others like Hatta Suma, who also in the engineering and vendors to this van operator. So we need to work closely with them, because when the student having certain basic competency, then they will go there with the right safety, with the right competency, then they can elevate their hands-on, and that bring another level of competency. I can't recall one example, but maybe in terms of signalings. Okay, here they can see the plannings, how the signaling works, how the train coming. Okay, the interchange time and so on. But when they visit Hattusuma, they see how the train is assembled, how the train being tested at the component level and subsystem level. So then this will relate to the signalings that they learn in with using the sandbox C or even though the simulator that you mentioned just now. So that's very important for us. Yeah, so we can give the students a certain understanding probably on the operational, the overall. But going to the next one, the subsystem and component level need to be done with our partners. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Azman.
Now it's time to hear from our audience. But if you have any questions, please raise your hands and our team will hand over the mic. Or alternatively, we also have a mic in the middle where you can just head on over to ask your questions.
Hello, hi. My name is Haikal. I'm currently taking railway systems degree. I'm now four semesters deep. I have a question for Mr. Legion. So, regarding your experience in signaling, what do you think that students should learn and emphasize on about signaling that could help make trains safer and more efficient in region?
So I think the understanding of fundamentals is always going to be critical in being able to apply that, because if you understand those, you can transfer your skills and your competence and your knowledge. If you think, I started in the power industry, I've worked in the nuclear industry, I've worked in building services, I've worked in transport, rail. So once upon a time we would have assumed that somebody that goes into one industry would only be able to work in that industry. So I think what you need to be able to do is to really focus on getting a solid fundamental understanding of theory across all engineering principles.
I said I went back to university at the age of 30, 10 years after I'd finished my higher diploma. I got exemptions from the first 2 years, and I walked into the classroom and the lecturer said, right, you'll remember last year we studied Laplace transforms. Well, it had been 10 years since I'd engaged in studies on Laplace transforms. But because I'd taken a good grounding in my engineering experience and my knowledge, I was able to understand and very quickly get up to speed and apply that. So I think don't focus on just trying to pass the exam. Don't focus on just trying to get the qualification. You have a great opportunity at this university to get a breadth of knowledge and a breadth of experience that extends beyond the academic qualification that you're going for. And that will be the thing that will give you the support and the foundation for you to be able to progress forward. You may stay in the rail industry, and I hope you do. But if you don't, it gives you the opportunity to explore other avenues because you have that strong base foundation.
Thank you, Mr. Region, and thank you for the question. Unfortunately, we have one more question. All right.
Hi, and I'm from Railway Systems. question to the panelists regarding to the technologies, as we know that the world is developing right now. So I think I have two questions. The first is, how do new train technologies affect school and railway in Malaysia? And the second one is also, what are the challenges that they face to overcome this issue? Thank you.
I think I would better to Dr. Azman.
Sorry, can I have the question again? Sorry.
Okay, the first one is, how do new train technologies affect school and railway in Malaysia?
Alright. On the new technology, of course, there are two parts: teaching and learning and research. Yeah, teaching and learning is basically to train our young talent to have the right competency for the industry. In this case, in this forum, we are talking about building up the competency in signaling for the railway industry. Later on, they can build the career either in Malaysia or at the global platforms. But for the new technology, we need to go to the next level, which is research. Yeah, as mentioned by Blade, AI is one of the possible area that we need to look into. In fact, under my research group, together with a few lecturers in Asia Center and MFI, we are currently having the study on integrity of a railway track. Yeah? So we use the AI technology and the NDT techniques. So we would like to predict the life cycle of a track. Yeah? So we know that track maintenance is so huge in Malaysia. So we really hope after 2 years, so we can help our railway operator to understand further by reducing the maintenance cost for the railway track. So AI is one of the possible area that we can look into. Secondly, of course, I'm more keen on customer experience, the passenger experience. That is very important because we need to attract more people to have to take ride for our modern public transport. So if you travel to others country, you will feel that our MRT, our LRT is so advanced, is so sophisticated, but yet the system still not attractive to put in our citizen to ride. Even though government nowadays, if you take the ride, it's only 50 ringgit a month. Okay, right? If you buy one bike, it cost you 200 ringgit a month to pay the installment. Yeah, it's still it's more expensive, but Malaysians love to take motorcycle riding. Blaine, for your information. Yeah, so this is among the things that we can look into to have the research in AI and also customer experience. Yeah.
I'm actually really grateful for your question. The reason I feel so passionately about this is I am a part-time teaching fellow at university. Now I bring all my industry experience when I come to the university to lecture. But the university's focus and academia's focus is very much on what do I know about the pedagogy, what do I know about teaching. And all of the focus, all of the attention is about me continuing my learning on how to teach. But actually, what's really critical is that I stay ahead of my students in terms of what's happening in terms of technological change. So my own commitment to professional development, to make sure that I'm making sure that the program is relevant, that we take the time to review the program on a regular basis to make sure that if there are advances in technology, we can incorporate those, but actually making sure that we support our lecturing team, not only through research, but also with the opportunities to engage with other professionals and engaging in conferences. We put a lot of our material, we the IRSE, put a lot of our material online, and it's available to anybody that wants to access it. Some of that information will be about current technologies, but some of it will be about future innovation.
And we need to encourage our lecturers and our teachers to engage in that program and support them and give them the time to be able to do that so that they can give a better quality of value proposition to their students. And that for me is really passion, a real passion. And that's why I'm so grateful to the lady for asking the question. Thank you.
Sorry to add on from Blaine. Yeah, that's why we're having a very good correlation with IISc. So we have a good access, and later on IISc is having many conference. Yeah, you are going to Melbourne tomorrow, right? For the global IISc conference. So this is another way for our lecturers and our students to develop your professional and knowing the new technology happening in the railway. So and also the engagement the industry. Yeah. So many things that we can do. Okay. We need to collaborate. Yeah. We need to collaborate. And of course, with this collaboration, it will entice and help us developing new technology, okay, understanding the issues at the industry, and hopefully, I really hope, okay, we can have a very efficient railway service in Malaysia. Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Dr. Azman and Mr. Blaine, and thank you for the student asking the question. Yes, AI is the emerging technology these days, and to my friend in the audience, you said you were semester 1, welcome to LED. Right, unfortunately, time is
fleeting from us. We have one more question. Okay, one more question, we can entertain one more question.
Hello, my name is Ariel, Bachelor in Railway System, semester 5, and I have one question for Sir David. What type of roles are available for entry-level candidates?
So very often within industry, when somebody first graduates, they join a graduate engineer program. So they will be working alongside experienced engineers. They may be involved in interlocking systems, or they may be involved
in the implementation of systems on particular new projects, or it may be that they're looking at refurbishment of existing projects. But the idea is to give them the support through the people that they work alongside, so that when they get to that I don't know moment, they've got somebody that they can turn to, who will be able to help and support them. So it's very much an entrance program. We at the institution recognise those people. We have a grade of membership called affiliate, which is the first grade of membership. We then move on as they develop into an associate member, a full member, a fellow, and then we get some great people who are companions of the institution as well. But there is a recognised development process, a pathway that people can follow. But important within that is making sure that you get into a good program where there is the support to allow you to put into practice the theory that you've learnt and test whether or not the ideas that you have are ideas that will actually work effectively in the future. So I would say find yourself somebody who is prepared to work with you, somebody who's prepared to act as a mentor and support you to develop so that you become a fully qualified professional.
Thank you.
Among the objective, UniKL and IISc is having collaboration and MOU signing. Basically, we one of the partners with IISc to train the training for the competency training for Malaysia for IISc module. There are 4 modules of IISc. Sorry, Blaine, but our students are eligible to take module A. The training content, the syllabus with us, okay, of course provided by IISc, and our student can take the exams online, And once you pass the exam, then you will convert by IRC for Module A. That's the starting point for you to be professional signaling engineers. Certificates, yeah. But moving forward, the next module is mainly based on your experience, your logbooks, all evidence-based works, yeah. So this is very important for Unicare because we provide you the basics for you to elevate further your career in signaling. Yeah?
Thank you, Dr. Azman and Mr. Linjun. That is the process of how you get the certificate or qualified.
So we have a foundation certificate, which is an online exam.
The candidates, it's a multiple choice exam. The candidates take that. They don't have to be members of the institution to access that exam, and we're doing that in conjunction with UniKL. That is a foundation that leads to students being allowed to take an advanced diploma, and that advanced diploma is a master's level postgraduate certificate, postgraduate qualification. So from that point of view, it's the gateway that gives you the opportunity to then focus and become a fully qualified practicing signaling engineer.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Linjun. So right now, that is the entire process of how to get the qualified certificate and stuff. And also thank you for our friend in the audience
for that question and the opportunity to answer your question. Now, unfortunately, time is fleeting from us. Before we conclude, I would like to thank our panelists, Mr. Blanchard and Associate Professor Engineer Dr.
Azman for sharing their valuable insights with us today. So I hope everyone found the discussion enlightening. Remember, the conversation doesn't end here. Feel free to connect with our panelists. If you have more questions, feel free to ask them. And thank you all for being here with us today for this enlightening panel talk. We learned that basically university and the industry have to work together to create competent individuals for the industry, and we can integrate systems in ASEAN, and we would like to replicate what that is in the EU. And essentially, the signaling can be integrated across ASEAN for Malaysia's own development and the region. Right, and that said, this concludes our panel discussion on enhancing railway signaling for Malaysian development, from theory to practice. I have been Muhammad Azrul bin Abdul Aziz, and it has been a pleasure to be your moderator for today. Let us continue with the ceremony and look forward to another engaging discussion later. Right, I shall pass over the mic to our Master of Ceremony, Ms. Nuratika Balkis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Muhammad Azirul and all of the panel for the discussion just now. I would like to request our both panel to remain on the stage. With all due respect, I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Zaid bin Abu Yazid and accompanied by Dr. Zaridah Mat Zain to the front to give the token of memento for our panel today. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Blanchard to receive the memento from Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Zaid, witnessed by Associate Professor Engineer Dr. Azman. Now, I would like to invite all of our guests to the stage for the photography session. Thank you to all panel and Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Zaid and Dr. Zarida for the souvenir giving just now.
Before we end, I would like to request
All the attendees from the left and the right side of this hall to squeeze in the middle for the photography session. Thank you, everyone. Now, we will break for half an hour. All invited guests are invited to have our refreshment at the hall beside. And for the students, you may follow our committee to the refreshment hall. I hope everyone can gather back in this hall at 11 a.m. to start our next session. Thank you. to stay and we will continue for our second forum. Therefore, I would like to proceed to the next agenda, which is the forum session entitled Boosting Student Employability in Railway Signalling through Industry Advancement and Technology Integration, that will again lead by Muhammad Azirul Iqmal bin Abdulaziz. Please welcome Muhammad Azirul and our panel to be on the stage.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning
to everyone. Thank you, Ms. Balkis, our Master of Ceremony for today. And again, I welcome everyone to the International Railway Forum organized by Asia Rail Centre, University Kuala Lumpur. I am Muhammad Azirul Iqmal bin Abdulaziz, student, Bachelor Engineering Technology, Railway Systems, Semester 7, delighted to be your moderator for today. Now, our second session for the forum today will discuss on the topic of boosting student employability in railway signalling through industry advancement and technology integration. That said, we are honored to have a distinguished panel of experts here to share their insights on this important subject. Please welcome our panel, Mr. Thomas Barker, Chief Executive Office, ERL Maintenance, Sendirian Berhad. Engineer Dr. Amer Basha, Consultant Railway Division, MinConsult. And Technologist Dr. Nur Shazana Osman, Deputy Dean, International, Industrial and Institutional Partnership, IIP, Unique Media. Right, now let's start by introducing our panelists. It is an honor to have experts of differing backgrounds and expertise among our panel today. We'll begin with Mr. Thomas Barker. Right, you were born in Hanau, Germany.
No signal.
Right, so what did you study and how did you get your education and background and such?
I went to university and I did administration management. I studied first, and then I went to Deutsche Bahn, which was my employer, and I continued my studies. I was just telling Judd, in all my life, I only had two employers. That was German Railways and IMAS, or ERL Maintenance Support. Yeah. So I'm not a signaling engineer by trade. For our organization is in a way that we are doing the operation of the express rail system, and we are doing the system maintenance. That means all systems and rolling stock, except track work is not with us. Track work is with the nominated subcontractor, which is SPYTL.
Right, thank you very much.
Mr. Thomas, and also you used to work in Deutsche Bahn engineering and consulting as well.
Yeah, after a couple of years, I thought I could work abroad. It might be nice.
Malaysia is the place to be.
And there was a chance to go to Turkey. I did my first project in Turkey. It was actually planning of utilization of shunting locomotives. After that, I went to Tanzania, stayed more than 6 years in Tanzania. Then I went to Thailand. I was involved in the BTS project in Bangkok. Then a couple of other projects like the Taiwan High-Speed Rail, and finally I ended up in Malaysia.
So you've been to all the continents in the old world.
Not actually, not to America and to South America, but all the others.
Yeah, in the old world, the continents. So yeah, Africa, Europe, and Asia.
Right, so thank you, Mr. Thomas, and welcome. And also thank you to being part of our panel today. And our second panelist is engineer Dr. Amir Basha. Dr. Amir Basha, you were born in Taiping, Perak. And what's your educational background?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning everybody. Like my colleague just now, Mr. Blaine Jude from UK. I was working in I only have two employers at the moment. The first employer was in the power industry in TNB. So before that was LLN. And then after I retired from TNB, as the managing director of TNB Research and also the dean of College of Engineering, UNITEN, which is the university set up by the TNB group. I was invited to join the consultant group, of which I'm still working today, but not full time, as an advisory mentor consultant to the railway division. So all in all, I've been working for the last 34 plus now 50 years since my graduation. Anyway, I graduated from, again, in London, University in King's College London. Then my master's and PhD in UMIST, Manchester, University of Manchester in Power Systems and High Voltage Engineering. And I came to know about railway systems when I was working in TNB, or I was in TNB, when KTMB was about to implement the railway electrification and also the LRT, Prasarana, in preparation for the SUCOM, the Commonwealth Games in 1998. That time, the government under the previous Prime Minister instructed the implementing agency to start off the electrification of the railway. So of course, naturally, one of the major stakeholder in this electrification is Tenaga Nasional Berhad, So then only I started to know about, begin to understand railway, traction and so on. And I spent some time in ABB. That time ABB got a lot of the jobs on the KTMB projects. So I was in Bastras and a few others when they were doing the electrification railway. So that was how I came into know. So when I retired from TMB and I joined Main Consult. So thank you very much.
Right, thank you, Dr. Amir, for being with us here today to share your experience, and also welcome to the LPD. And lastly, the only panel lady on our stage today, allow me to introduce technologist Dr. Nur Shazana Osman, the Deputy Triple IP for UNILPD. Yes, Dr. Nur Shazana, would you like to tell us your education background and such?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good
morning, I think, still. Okay, still morning. Okay, basically, I'm not the correct person that able to talk about railway because I'm actually from industrial design. So my background more to designing the products, consumer products, transportations, but related to railway is I have a zero knowledge. But I am still learning about railways since I have to take care of industrial institutional partnership. So I need to understand all the program that related to UNILPD. So I'm from University Putra Malaysia for my PhD in industrial design. So basically from degree until my PhD, I'm pure in industrial design, not railway. So that's all for me. Okay.
Right, thank you, Dr. Nur
The job scope for the deputy provide is about marketing the students and basically engaging with the industry from the university standpoint.
Okay, so I'm the person in charge for international industrial and institutional partnership.
So my works actually, my job task is actually to find any networkings, collaborations, partnerships to our students, our campus, how we want to build a good connections, a good reputations for our students. Not only they learn in theoretical parts in university, but also to build a good networking to the industry, understands everything about the hands-on practically with the industry, new technologies and so on.
Thank you,
Dr. Prashasana, and welcome to the panel, and thank you to be part of the panel as well. Yes, Dr. Bashar would like to introduce.
Introduce my colleague who is working together with me in Kansas, because they are more young engineers. So, Jakarta, he will also be demonstrating a short simulation tool design that is used currently by Kansas in one of the projects we are doing.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Bashar, and thank you, Mr. Khairul. All right. Now that you've met all our panelists,
let's dive into the discussion then. Now we'll be exploring the key aspects of employability and railway signaling, and our panelists will give their insights to the topic at hand. I'll begin with a few questions, and later on we'll open to the audience to give questions of their own. Right, without any further ado, I will ask Mr. Thomas Barker, can you share insights on the specific skills and competencies that employers in the railway signaling industry are seeking in recent graduates and new hires?
Yes, okay. I also would like to introduce to you three of my colleagues, which are sitting here. They are all three from the signaling department. So if you have any questions later on, ask them. And ask them if it's true what I'm saying. Okay, so what is the employer expecting? Actually, first of all, there are some soft skills. You have to show up for work. You have to, when you work in railways, you have to be aware that railway doesn't only happen between 9 to 5. It also happens early in the morning, it happens at night, and it happens on weekends. And it also happens when your friends and your family are maybe celebrating Hari Raya or whatever, yeah? When it's your duty time, you have to be there. Then what we are expecting is actually that you have background knowledge of what you will be doing. Background knowledge in terms of a broad sense of background. Not system specific, because in Malaysia, since every railway system has a different specific system, the specific you will learn at your workplace later. But the general understanding, like in terms of signaling principles, is block, what is interlocking, these things we are expecting that you know them. Then, of course, there have to be your willingness to cooperate and to collaborate with your, as a team. We don't work as individuals, we work as a team. And then you have to be adaptable and have to be willing to learn further. So when you come from university, when you graduate, it's not the end of the journey, it's actually the beginning of a journey. Yeah? And in our case, we are offering internships, and during these internships, you learn the hands-on work, and you will also be assigned to a project which you will do self-reliantly or together with some other colleagues. And at the end of this internship, you will actually present your project. We had a number of people who were actually really good. And of course, when you are good, there's always a chance to be offered an employment.
Right, thank you, Mr. Thomas. And it goes back to what topic you discussed earlier in the first session. You want to practice it right, and we also have to look at theory as well. And the university is a place where you learn theory. And that said, we'll swiftly move on to the next question, which is directed to Dr. Amir. What role does academic curriculum play in preparing students with the necessary skills and knowledge to meet the demands of the ever-changing railway signaling industry?
Thank you, Azim, for asking that question. Yes, the theme for this session, for this second part of the session, is boosting student employability in railway signaling through industry engagement and technology integration. Yeah, I think that the key word here is actually industry enhancement and technology integration. Yeah, I think these are very important. It is a very good keywords that have been used in this for this section. So I would like to start off my answer to this question. Maybe I can just switch on the first one. Just to highlight. Okay. Yeah. Should I? Nice. Okay. Yeah. Just to put on the first. Just to give an overview of where the industry structure, I think this doesn't go much difference from other parts of the world. So basically, you can see that in the box. To appreciate before I answer, there are three key things that I would like to touch on in this first part of the question. Is basically looking at the BET railway systems curriculum, which I have the opportunity to look at. I think this is a very comprehensive curriculum that UniKL has developed since its inception. I think this is we're really coming from the industry. Coming from the industry. I think this is something which this is very much relevant. So as you can see on the first slide, basically the green part is the planning, design, and implementation, and so on. And then you have another green part, which is the MRO, the maintenance, repair, overhaul. And then we have the education and training. So these are in the purview of the. And then we have the orange part, which is more on the operator side, Prasarana, KTMB. And then the circle is the regulatory and policy, which is the government side. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So I think, the curriculum. The curriculum, I think, as what UniKL has done is, basically the three pillars. The red and the green, the red and the blue is basically the hardware part. The hardware part, And then the green part, which is the integration, the software part that drives the hardware part, which is a very important. And down there you can see the curriculum, which is the mechanical, electrical, the railway, rolling stock, and the track works. So in the industry, we normally call it the track works work package contractor and the rolling stock contractor. And then we have the green, now the blue one, the electrification part, the traction power systems, and which is basically high voltage and distribution system and so on. And then the last part is the software part, which is the OCC, the BOCC, and where you can actually see the operation control center at, like KTMB, like ERL, and also at Subang Depot and Sungai Buloh Depot and all that. So this is the railway systems engineering. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, this is the one that I think I would like to emphasize. You can see first the orange circle and the green circle. What I put there are standards associated, and all of this is due to the safety, the modern electrified railway system safety. So you have the twin circles, the train movement safety, which is basically much in the domain and all the relevant standards, as mentioned just now by Awan, the European standards, which we are using all this. And then the green one, of course, some of them are localized. The Malaysia Regulatory Act, Malaysia Electricity Act, and of course, again, the European standards on, you have a straight current issue if it's a third rail, DC rail, and you have the AC rail for KTMB, CRL, and so on. So these are the two railway system safety. At the end of the day, it's all about system safety. So we have two, okay? So let's move on to the next one. The next one will be, okay, this is just to put perspective, the KTMB, the ECRL, the ERL on one side, on the right, and on the Prasarana. Again, in this country, we have two types of railway DC system, third rail and fourth rail. So as you know, third rail, we have the over problem of the corrosion problem and so on and so forth. So it's very important to have very good insulation of the rail system, of the rail track. Or if you have a fourth rail like Kelana Jaya line and also the LRT3, which we are doing now, which are also involved, Minkonsa is also involved as a consultant, is a fourth rail system. So you can see that we have a third and fourth rail system for the DC railway, the MRT, the LRT. Kelana Jaya line and LRT3 are the fourth rail system. I think in UK also they have a third and fourth rail, especially in the tunnel system, if I'm not mistaken, and London Underground. And also and then again for KTMB, of course it is. And what to emphasize is the rail system is actually the written circuits. And this is where we have the problem of the, let's move on to the next one, which is this is where the EMC. So the first topic that I would like to touch on is on the EMC problem, the EMC. So EMC is, I think, the first topic I think I would like to touch on the curriculum part, is that maybe there need to be a stress on the EMC, because EMC is a level 1 kind of thing, which both, it covers all. So EMC, I think there should be some part on EMC, as you can see in the chart there. Earthing, lightning, bonding is a very important issue here. So the second one, which I would like to show, is regarding the, let's move on to the next one. This is on the EMC. The next subject matter, which is also addressed in the curriculum of UniKL, is on the sustainable energy, which is an elective. In this case, I would like to stress the government has also now stressed on energy efficiency, energy saving, which is very important. And this one I want to show in Norway. You see, with different driving modes, you can have different way of energy consumption. This is taken from the one of the UIC paper, European Union paper. I think there was somebody from, I think, Switzerland presented this. In fact, there was a full paper which I attended, but this is one of the, this is to show off the importance of energy metering. And then energy metering. So the question to ask here is railway, basically the subject of energy saving or energy efficiency. I think this is important. And then the last one, let's move on to the next one, is on the, just now there was a mention about AI. Yes, this is the latest release by EN again on TS 5071 on railway system cybersecurity. So you can see that in the railway industrial automation and control system, there is always the business IT, the normal business enterprise, financial, blah, blah, blah. And then we also have the operational technology. This is where the control systems are about. So I think AI is a very good tool to be used in this domain, but then we have to take caution. In fact, in one of the projects that we are reviewing now, in one of the projects, I put a clause there that AI can be a good, not on its own be left alone. It should be relegated to a role an assistant, but under human supervision. So this is the three things that I want to touch on based on the curriculum, and maybe somehow this can be addressed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Amir Basha.
AI is, at the end of the day, is still a machine, and it still does whatever the human tells it to do.
If you, hopefully, we don't have an AI uprising in the future. Right, and thank you, Dr. Amir Basha, for that in-depth, nuanced view of the electrical systems in the railways. Now moving on to Dr. Nur Shazana. What ways can internships, apprenticeships, or industry placements be
integrated into the educational experience to offer students practical exposure to railway signaling technology and practices?
Okay, thank you for the moderator. Okay, so basically in Unical BD, or even though all the Unical, we have the internship. Okay, so this one is actually a good things and very important for our students to understand. Okay, the importance of the internship, because most of our students, they just see local industry rail. Okay, the importance that the students, okay, for the internships to integrate international levels, so it's actually for the varied knowledge, innovation learnings, networking opportunities, and also the cultural collaborations, understandings. As mentioned by Mr. Thomas, that each of the country have a different signal system. Example like US, they have a European train control system. Is it? I'm afraid that ETS, okay, ETCS, right? Okay. So this is a good opportunity for students if they can continue offer their internship at international levels, so they will understand each of the country system, okay, the cultures, even though they can build the networking with all the professionals industry in rail systems, not only locally but international. Okay, Unical, as I know that for the diploma rail system, they have a 6 months training, 6 month WBL, work-based learning, and 6 months for their internship. So this is actually a good program structure for our students to take the advantage to learn from the expert from the rail industry. Okay, for the BTRS, they have a 6 month industrial training. Okay, but I have some like suggestions or to our students, please apply for the internship internationally, because currently I don't get any applications from student railway to go internationally for internship. But at this program, I have quite numbers to go abroad to learn the industry itself, okay, not only about the hands-on practical, but also the cultures, how to communicate with peoples in the industry. Okay.
Thank you, Dr.
Nur Shazana. As a student of engineering, I always have a
soft spot for
Japan, because they are like the two engineering, how would you say it, giants of the world, I guess. And people thought
Japan engineering is best. Japan engineering is best.
English engineering is also
is also the
regular engineering classes as well. But yeah, as a student of engineering, I always
without them, no railways.
Oh yes.
the English brought the railways
in Malaysia
back then as well.
So yeah, so you know, I would like to go to other countries and learn railways or just
engineering in general, even in other countries.
And maybe if I can apply, I would like to apply internationally. But the problem now is just the funds, like, maybe if I can
get some scholarships, maybe. Right.
So, thank you, Dr. Nur Shazana. Moving on to Mr. Thomas Barker. How is the field of railway signaling evolving, and what are the emerging trends and technologies that students should be aware of to enhance their employability?
Yeah, there are several aspects which become more and more. I will not use AI anymore because this is a term I was at the conference yesterday. Also, AI is in every second sentence. But in railway signaling, the big thing that's coming is digitalization. Digitalization in form of sensors, in form of collecting data and monitoring systems, and with the ultimate aim to optimize the maintenance cost. Yeah? For example, there are railways that are equipping all their turnout motors, all their point machines with sensors which measure the energy consumption. And if there are any changes, they know we have to go there and we have to look what is actually causing the changes. That is one aspect. The second big aspect is not such a good one. That is cyber security. Cyber security becomes more and more important. There are actually railways which already have been affected, not on the signaling side, but on the commercial side. There was a cyber attack on MRT2 a couple months back, and they couldn't use their normal sales channels for their tickets anymore. So this is becoming more and more important and should actually be included in every curriculum for signaling engineers. The next one is automatic train operation on conventional signaling systems. There's a number of projects going on, and one guy we know together, our Philip Götz from Rail Systems Engineering, they are having a project like this in Switzerland. They have a train, they equipped it with and developed a program for the train to move automatically on a conventional signaling system. This doesn't replace the driver, but just like in redundancy mode on the Ampang line or on the Kelana Jaya line, it actually, the driver still has to be there, but he only is there to act when there is something not right. Yeah? It's not autonomous driving. There are no sensors on the train which are actually sensing any obstacles. It's only to run the normal program as efficient as possible. Because you all know that many countries have committed to reduce their carbon emissions by 2030. And railway is the natural replacement for individual traffic on the road. EVs in this amassing will not be able to handle that. Yeah? So railways will be part of it. And with the existing network, we have to make sure that we optimize it in terms of capacity. That means we have to put as many trains on them as possible. And the other big aspect is, you just touched this in your presentation, energy saving, energy efficiency, because ATO can drive more energy efficient than a driver. There may be a driver which can do it better, but all the bulk of drivers this automated system will do this, will perform better. They are actually calculating savings of up to 20% in energy efficiency. These are actually the main aspects that will come. The other one, if there is a high-speed rail system coming in this country, where there are plans to do this, it will most probably have a system like ETCS, yes, or CTCS. Chinese, not European, Chinese. But basically it's the same, it has the same origins. Yeah?
Thank you, Mr. Thomas Barker. With the rise of IR 4.0, everything is becoming automatic, as you say, as well. And that includes the railway industry as well. We have the automatic train operation systems as well. But swiftly moving on, Dr. Amian Basha, what advice would you give to students who are considering a career in railway signaling in terms of building a strong skill set and staying competitive in the job market? And are there any innovative teaching methods or hands-on experiences that have proven effective in preparing students for careers in railway signaling?
Okay, this is the competency mix. The railway, I can hardly see it, but kalau kita besarkan, there you can see the 4 quadrants there. The 4 quadrants there, which I can share. I mean, this can be shared. Basically, this is, as my colleagues just now mentioned, it has to cover from level 0 to level 3, maybe, level 3, the component level, and then level 3, level 2, level 1, and level 0, which is regulatory, part, policy, government. So the whole chain is all about. So the students, this must have a complete appreciation of the competency mix of the railway industry, So the 4 quadrants there, this was part of the thing that we submitted to the government when I was together with Dr. Azman, when we were presenting the IEM position paper on building capacity for railway systems, which was presented to the Ministry of Transport. So this is one of the transparency that was presented to them, that the students need to have a complete overview of the thing, So the curriculum will need to as my colleague just now, our CEO was mentioning, that we cannot be giving everything, but some parts of it need to be put in the curriculum. So this is very important. And then to answer the second question, the question before I ask Khairul to demonstrate the use of the simulation tool that we actually use for our ongoing project, I would say that to start off, if possible, the students need to work with the system subcontractors or the contractors, because we have rolling stock works package contractors, we have track works contractors. Incidentally, under track works contractor, I think we have this problem now because we are actually we are also the independent check engineer for the RTS project between Bukit Chaga and Woodlands in Singapore, the rail transit system between along the causeway. So, so one of the things that we noticed that under track works, works package contractor, the conductor rail is normally packaged under track works. And sometimes the track works guy may not understand fully, about the conductor rail system, the way how it's done and all that. So me being the independent check engineer for traction power system, so sometimes I need to interact a lot with our track works people. So I think in one sense, the track works guy, the track works that we have the curriculum, maybe needs to introduce conductor rail system, maybe not under advanced rail electrification. I'm not so sure. I have your syllabus. It's good. I think there's all covered. Chuma, where do you place it? I do not know. I know where do you place it because there's got to be a straight current issue, MC. So to start off with, works package contractors lah, or subcontractors if you can get a place. And then we have comms contractor, power system contractor, signaling contractor, of course, together with the rolling stock and so on. And then the next one may be the MRO contractor, maintenance and repair overhaul contractor. You may not get into the operator itself, because the operator may have a limited, like Prasarana or KTMB, limited intake. But the contractors, especially MRO, maintenance, repair and overhaul contractor, this gives you a good hands-on experience. When I was in the power sector, we actually does all that kind of work, before we move on to the higher management position. But then when I retired, I go back to the fundamentals again. I need to go understand my second law of Newton's second law of motion, which is important in railway. The dynamics, the train dynamics, which is basically. So anyway, before I ask Cik Khairul to come up and address the second question about the simulation tool, that's all for the time being. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Also, this Dr. Amir Basha would like to invite Cik Khairul.
I invite Cik Khairul
Mr.
to demonstrate the innovative teaching tool. I think there's a lot being used, not only teaching tool, design tool, used by ARL and I'm sure all other operators.
Assalamualaikum. Okay, next slide. Okay, basically, simulation for OpenTrack software, we're using two types of software. One is for operation simulations, and one is for power supply simulation. So the first software is OpenTrack. What does OpenTrack do? Here we simulate the simulation for the railway network to determine the running time, the timetable, and the characteristic of the rolling stock studies, and simulate the journey time. And from this, we can get the power consumption of the train itself, and how the train will move on the line with proper speed, proper network, civil networks configuration. And also, it can use to evaluate the signaling design on the network. Okay. So, for this case, I use study for the Kuching Urban Traffic Transportation System codes, which use BRT system. Even though the OpenTrack is commonly used for the railway, but it also can be used for the BRT projects. So, sorry, okay, I cannot point. So the top left is the network configuration for the Kuching's networks, and so we can see for the bottom right how the specific item we place on the network, such as the turning back of the train, and also the placement of the station itself, and the signaling at the junction, where I put on the direction northbound and southbound. So from this figure, from this simulation, we can get the speed profile of the train itself, and also the train diagram which show how the behavior of the train within the networks. From this we can get the behavior of the train on the track, and whether we can determine whether have a conflict between each train operation or not. So may I ask okay. So this one a video that we do for the simulation. So this simulation is done by using 8-minute headway. From this simulation, we can determine that at one moment of time, there will be 14 numbers of vehicles inside the track to complete and to comply with the 8-minute headway lah. So this the behavior of the train movement on the track. Okay. So, okay, that's all. Okay. Another software is the Open PowerNet software. This used in collaboration with Open Track software, so that it can study on the power requirement on the power supply for the train. That is to do the load flow analysis on the TPSS via AC or DC networks, and to calculate the braking effort of the recovery system, modeling the power supply such as rectifier, inverter, transformer, converter, and also it can use to determine the strain current analysis. That's all.
Thank you, Encik Khairul.
That's new technology. Has it been implemented?
This is for design and also certainly for teaching to understand signaling diagram and all that. Each of the signaling points replicated on that speed profile, so it's a very useful tool. Plus, of course, the hands-on.
Okay, that's very nice. Thank you, Dr. Basha. That's exciting. That's new technology that is only recently being implemented, and students use this computer all day. And I think that's very exciting as an engineering student. Now, moving on to Dr. Shazana. Can you share examples of successful partnerships between educational institutions, railway signaling companies, and students, resulting in enhanced employability and career opportunities?
Alright, so for the successful partnerships, so currently we have a Siemens Learning Program and also Alstom Apprentice Initiative. So both of these is actually a technical school and also a vocational schools. Okay, they are providing a student learns about the signaling technologies, also apprentice programs under Alstom Apprenticeships Initiative. So from these programs, students will be like have a secure full positions after they in the end of the apprentice program. Okay, and also we have research collaborations with other universities. Examples like China. Okay, currently we try to have a good collaborative with the China. Before this, we went to China and see the technical college there to understanding their technologies, the AIs, the simulations that they deliver to their students. It's quite impressive for me because I never see that all the technologies in railway here. So I think it's quite fantastic for me. Okay, so maybe from the Chinese itself, we can do like a sharing knowledge, a transfer knowledge to our students, and also our students can go to the technical college at China to learn something, new technologies from them. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Shazana. The Alstom's program was fairly new, isn't it? I was there during the launching ceremony of the apprenticeship program, And if I'm not mistaken, Alstom is a French company, if I'm not mistaken? Or it worked with the French company?
Yes, it's one of the French companies.
Yes.
So
It's actually quite new also for UniCal, but we try to continue our networking with Alstom. So this is actually to benefit to our students after this. It's not only to the university itself, but to the students.
Right, thank you, Dr. Nasha.
So that means like we have like a few different engineering giants over Europe already working with UniCal Media already. We have
Mr. Thomas. We also have the English work from the
IRSE. We also have Alstom, the French, all helping UniCal Media. We also have China partnered with UniCal Media as well.
yes, hopefully after this
Another collaborations with one other industry.
It's very exciting news for the students. We can go literally most places in the world for education. Thank you, Dr. Rachana.
Right.
Now, I'm quite sure that the audience have questions of their own. Right. So let us hear those questions. I'm opening up
for the floor to ask questions.
If you have any questions, again, just raise your hand and our team will pass over the mic.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning.
Yes.
My name is Muhammad Rosli. I'm a student of Bachelor Industrial Engineering System, currently in semester 7. I would like to ask Mr. Thomas, what skills do companies in railway look for in a new hires, and also how can students make sure they are prepared for market job? Thank you.
Okay, I think I mentioned this in my in my first remarks. First of all, you have to be committed. Yeah, that helps a lot to be committed, and then you have to be eager to learn. And I mentioned before, don't consider this as the university as the end of something. It is actually the beginning of something. This is where you really learn, and you learn to apply what you have learned before in university. So what you have to look for is not only what is actual now in signaling or in rolling stock, also what are the tendencies which will come in future. I mentioned the automatic train operation. In rolling stock, it's also new technologies for trains and so on, hydrogen trains. There is a lot of evolvement in railways. Altogether, it's slow. We are actually operating according to the same principles which I learned 50 years ago. But it developed, and more technology comes in. So this is what you, the skill you have to bring, and the eagerness to keep deepening your knowledge. And the other thing is, in railways, one of the most important things is safety, because railway is considered safe and has to be safe, because when you are not safe, you'll be losing passengers and so on, and it will have a negative effect on your business. So you have to be committed not to take any shortcuts. You have to follow manuals, you have to follow procedures, and not try to develop your own procedures. You can develop your own procedures, but then discuss them with your colleagues or your management and so on. If it's an improvement, of course, everybody can make suggestions for improvements. Yeah? These are the key things. And what our friend from Britain said before, if you don't know, don't do it. If you're not sure, don't do it. Ask somebody else. There is no shame in that. Yeah? If you think you know and it goes wrong, that is a lot worse for you and for potentially for people and for assets and so on. Yeah? So does this answer your question?
He said yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas Barker, and
our friend from the audience for that question. Hopefully that you did satisfies your curiosity. Now, do you have any more questions? One more question from the audience?
My name is Afif. I'm a railway student currently in semester 5. My question for the panelists is, can you provide examples of recent innovation or advancement within the rail sector? Thank you.
Examples of new innovations.
New innovation, yeah. Of course, as I just touched on just now on the three things just now in my response to question number 1 and 2. Basically, the three things which I touched on. The first one is on the ENC issue. The second one, which I think is very current, was touched on by my colleague Thomas, on the energy saving, energy efficiency part. So, for example, I just want to ask ERL or even KTMB, I think we should start thinking of having an energy measuring or energy metering system on board the ETS railway, around KL to Singapore, KL to Ipoh, or even the ERL. No, because every day there are how many journeys? Just now, I just showed just now, the European have this already in place, the energy metering and billing, because they have transborder crossing and all that. But even in Norway, for the domestic trains. So the energy metering and billing system is one of the innovation that I think we should look at least within the context of Malaysia. And now with the RTS to Singapore, of course I know how they design it, how much energy is being used in Singapore and how because it's a short stretch, but still we should be looking into this. This is one of the innovation energy, sustainable energy, which is part of the curriculum in UniKL, is under elective. The second one is, I think should be cybersecurity, AI, using AI for operation technology, especially in the control system of the because you have the IT and the OT, and there is a clear demarcation between IT and OT, and especially the use of AI in OT is very, very current. Therefore, there should be an innovation in that area. For example, just touched upon by our Dr. Azman just now on the AI, use of AI for condition monitoring. Condition monitoring is, which we have used a lot in TMB. When we were in TMB, we have the whole grid is actually, we had to dispatch electricity. I work in the National Load Dispatch Center for years, system operation. So of course, there are a lot of protection control system to dispatch energy rather than trains. So of course, a lot of innovation need to be done together with the supplier or the contractor for that control system. So our local engineers need to work together with the supplier, with the contractor. So this is another innovation which will need to be involved, the local engineers together with it can be from Germany Siemens, or it can be from China, or it can be from Alstom, or it can be from IRSE, even if IRSE from UK itself, I know in Birmingham, they have a Birmingham Center of Research and Education, BCRER, the Center for Research and Education, and they actually have a good certification program in SMRT,
part of the postgraduate program in SMRT, postgraduate. They have to be on the job. Then they got certified by this BCRER together. So all this certification involves RSE and so on. So these are the areas that I think the innovation will come to it. It's not only from the supplier, the contractor, the package contractor, but also, and we also have the TDA, the Transit Repository Agency, which is an offset program developed by the Ministry of Finance. So we should be asking all these questions. The TDA maybe need to be beefed up, to involve more of the industry. Of course, TDA sits in the MOF, but I think we can actually, as a contractor or as the user, define what we should be getting, what we should be innovating together with the supplier. It needs both to play, to dance, tango. It needs both to tango. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Amir Basha. As you said earlier, well, that was some of the innovations, and we still need more innovations. As a supply end user, have to see. Yeah, we are the user. Well, thank you, Dr. Amir Basha. Right, unfortunately, that is all the time we have today. I would like to first thank our panelists for being with us here today, Mr. Thomas Barker, Dr. Amir Basha, Associate Technologist Dr. Nur Shazana Osman, for sharing their valuable insights. I hope everyone found this discussion educational, and I would like to remind everyone this conversation doesn't end here. Feel free to contact any of our panelists, even from the previous sessions, if you have any more questions to them. Now, thank you all for being part of this insightful forum. And what we learned today is, well, we need innovations. And students have, well, what would you say, the accessibility, I guess? Accessibility to go anywhere they want, well, virtually anywhere they want, to study and go for scholarships or internships internationally, exchange programs, and we learned how some of the nuances of electricals in the railway engineering. Right, that said, this concludes our panel discussion on boosting students' employability in railway signaling through industry advancement and technology integration. I've been Muhammad Nazirullah bin Abdul Aziz, and it's been a pleasure to be your moderator. Let us all continue with the ceremony and look forward to another engaging discussion in the future. I will pass the mic over to our Master of Ceremony, Ms. Nortika Balbis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nazirul and all the panel for the discussion just now. Next, we will begin with a token of appreciation session for our external panel. I would like to ask Mr. Thomas Barker and Engineer Dr. Amir Basha to remain at the stage. followed by Engineer Dr. Amir Bashar. Thank you to the all panel, and thank you Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Zaid, Dr. Zaridah and Dr. Nur Shazana for the souvenir giving just now.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have just
witnessed a history being made right here in our very own University Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia Italy Design Institute, the International Railway Forum, transforming railways from classroom theories to on-track signalling and beyond. On behalf of UniKL Asia Rail Centre, we are looking forward to a greater cooperation and collaboration that will bring benefits to all parties. With that, we have come to the end of the ceremony. Once again, we would like to express our highest gratitude to Associate Professor Engineer Dr. Azman bin Senin, Acting President, Chief Executive Officer, University Kuala Lumpur, and Mr. Blaine Jude, Chief Executive and General Secretary, Institute of Railway Signal Engineers. Delegates from Industry of Railway Signal Engineers, ERL Maintenance Support Sendirian Berhad, MinConsult Sendirian Berhad, and all present for sparing us your precious time. Before we end, all guests are invited to have a visit at the railway workshop at ground floor. Till then, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a pleasant day ahead.